There are numerous VR horror games available for anyone with the courage to try them. Of all, VR is still in its infancy, so titles like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, and Fatal Frame cannot be expected. However, players may be surprised by the quality and well-reviewed horror games already on the shelves of VR stores. Gamers should only play these dangerous VR games if they are fully aware of what they are getting into. Welcome to Luxuricity, the place of luxurious inspiration, ideas, and information. Today we will be talking about the top 3 scariest VR horror games. Here are the top 3 scariest VR horror games. Number 1, Half-Life, Alyx. Valve created and published Half-Life, Alyx, a virtual reality first-person shooting game. It was published in 2020 for Windows and Linux, and most PC-compatible VR headsets were supported. Players control Alyx Vance on a mission to acquire a superweapon belonging to the Alien Combine, set between the events of Half-Life, 1998, and Half-Life 2, 2004. Alyx includes combat, puzzles, exploration, and survival horror, just like earlier Half-Life games. Players use virtual reality to interact with the environment and battle foes, manipulating objects with gravity gloves similar to the gravity gun from Half-Life 2. Half-Life, Alyx is a VR game that works with all Steam VR-compatible VR headsets, including the Valve Index, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Oculus Quest, and all Windows mixed reality headsets. Valve stated that a non-VR version of the game was not in the works because the gameplay was built for VR. Half-Life, Alyx also accepts Steam Workshop user mods. Players take control of Alyx Vance, Freeman's ally, as she and her father, Eli Vance, battle the Combine, an alien empire that has overrun Earth. Alyx was not an episodic game or a side tale, according to designer David Sparrer, but the next section of the Half-Life story, roughly the same length as Half-Life. Players use virtual reality to collect supplies, interact with interfaces, toss things, and fight. The gravity gloves, like the gravity cannon in Half-Life 2, allow players to pick up objects from afar. Traditional Half-Life components such as exploration, puzzles, combat, and plot are all included in the game. While the game is largely a first-person shooter, it incorporates elements of the survival horror genre, such as limited health and ammo, as well as terrifying encounters. To move Alyx in-game, players can physically move around on a room scale. Alternatively, users can maneuver Alyx using the analog sticks on their VR controllers, teleport to adjacent spots, or use an intermediate mode to glide to specific locations. When teleporting, the game simulates the movement even though it appears to be instantaneous, and Alyx can be killed if she is attacked or transferred from a tremendous height. If you are enjoying this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Number 2, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard. Capcom produced and released the 2017 survival horror game. The player takes control of Ethan Winters as he solves puzzles and fights monsters while searching for his long-missing wife at a decrepit plantation occupied by an infected family. Resident Evil 7 departs from the more action-oriented Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 by stressing exploration and returning to the franchise's survival horror roots. It's the first Resident Evil game to include a first-person perspective. Resident Evil 7 was released in Japan in January 2017 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, and in May 2018 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. The PlayStation VR headset is also supported. The game was hailed by critics as a return to form for the franchise, with praise for the gameplay, creativity, and usage of virtual reality, but mixed reviews for the boss battles and final chapter. The game has sold 10 million copies globally as of October 2021. It was nominated for various awards at the end of the year. Resident Evil Village, the sequel, was released on May 7, 2021. The player controls Ethan Winters from a first-person perspective as he searches a derelict estate for his missing wife. Although Ethan is a civilian with few combat skills, he is able to arm himself with a variety of weapons including handguns, shotguns, flamethrowers, explosives, and chainsaws against the estate's residents, the Baker family, as well as humanoid fungal creatures known as the molded and mutated insects. He can block attacks to reduce damage. Various sections of the game are spent being pursued by members of the Baker family who, if engaged in combat, can only be temporarily incapacitated. However, these encounters are avoidable by means of stealth or running away. Unlike Resident Evil 6, the focus of the game is on horror and exploration rather than action. The inventory is based on a grid design, with a maximum capacity of 12 spaces that can be increased multiple times throughout the game. Each item can use up to 2 places, while the D-pad can hold up to 4 objects. Items can be managed and stored in item boxes found in save rooms, and can be recovered from different item boxes for later use. To boost their utility, things in the inventory can be utilized, examined, or combined with other goods. In order to uncover secrets, several of the game's puzzles demand that items be examined under specific conditions. Tape recorders can be used to manually save the game's progress, which may necessitate the usage of a cassette tape depending on the difficulty level. Ethan is on the lookout for videotapes that put the player in the shoes of a new character, often offering plot information or solutions to a riddle. The PlayStation VR headset can be used to play the PlayStation 4 version in virtual reality. Items can be acquired by fulfilling certain in-game objectives, such as beating the game in a given amount of time or on a certain level, and they will appear in the item box on subsequent playthroughs. Glasses that indicate out item locations, a strong handgun, a circular saw, shoes that boost walking speed, and scrolls that reduce the damage sustained while guarding are just a few of the goods available. Number 3, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners is a virtual reality first-person shooter survival horror game created by Skydance Interactive for Windows, PlayStation 4, Oculus Quest, and Oculus Quest 2. It's based on Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead comic book series by Skybound Entertainment. On January 23, 2020, it was launched on Steam and Oculus, and in May 2020, it was released on PlayStation VR. In October 2020, it was launched on Oculus Quest under the Tourist Edition moniker. Walkers can be killed by braining them, stabbing them through the skull and puncturing their brains. The player can scale structures to ambush foes and use throwing weapons, bows, and long-range weaponry to attack from afar. The control of melee weapons is governed by physics-based fighting. In the game The Bells, there is a timer where the tower sounds the bells to stir the herd once a specific amount of time has passed. When the bells ring, a horde appears and pursues the player down. At the player's home base, there is a linear crafting system in which the player must scavenge and salvage various items in order to create new items or weapons. Crafting recipes can be found in safes or random drops, or they can be upgraded at crafting stations. An exile will arrive at random in each place, asking for supplies in exchange for materials or holding the player at gunpoint demanding supplies. Zombies, often known as walkers, come in 4 different varieties. The first is a typical zombie that appears out of nowhere. The second is born when an ordinary person is slain without being brainwashed. The generated zombie imitates the human who was killed, including chopped off limbs, headgear, armor, and appearance. The third is a unique infected walker that can be stabbed with melee weapons to reduce the player's maximum health. An elite walker is the fourth walker. These walkers are frequently seen wearing helmets and body armor, and their helmets make it more difficult to kill them because they block braining attempts. Weapons come in a variety of weights, which affect how they are held. There will be lands claimed by either the tower or the reclaimed on occasion. The Trial is an alternative game mode that is available on all existing platforms. The player must kill zombies in order to earn Bitcoin, which can be used on more supplies. The Trial comes with 3 maps and 2 difficulty levels. If the player shoots a hanging zombie, they will receive food that gives them infinite ammo and weapon durability when eaten, whereas if the player kills the hanging zombie with a melee weapon, they will receive food that, like the previous boost, gives them infinite weapon durability with infinite stamina. On September 23, 2021, a new game mode called Aftershocks was released as a free upgrade. It takes place after the game's main story. It's intended to provide new in-game material, such as new missions, plot elements, and threats to the experience. The player will be assigned to gather supplies to return to the base, with Skydance stating that the update is only a sample of what we have planned for Saints and Sinners, and is in fact simply the first taste of new content planned for the game. Explore Aftershocks to its full potential, and you might learn more about what's ahead for the tourist and the rest of post-apocalyptic New Orleans. For more luxurious inspiration, ideas, and informative videos, tune into the channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.